Hooray! It's the Greater Mythos podcast. It's Saturday. We're a day late. Do you think anyone notices? I probably won't, even though we're doing it now. We talk about video games, comic books, movies, TV shows, sometimes board games. I think today we're talking about board games, huh? Part of it?
Board games. Well, that's what most of my list is.
Great. I'd say we just hit the nail on the frickin' head. And like every other time we have these fun moments together, we'll have rabbit trails. We'll have deviating conversations, and at some point we're not going to remember how we got to that point, but it's all a part of the experience.
That is true. Although I do have one piece of news that's not about board games that we should get out of the way first.
I do too. Maybe it might be the same thing, but you go first.
So the news I heard was that since Bethesda's been bought out by Xbox,
Yes.
they have already talked and released about like financial numbers and stuff and how it probably won't be profitable to have them since everything's going to be released on other systems too. So they're talking about making, and I think it might be confirmed already, that Elder Scrolls 6 will be Xbox exclusive. Even though everything else won't be, which that's never been the case because I mean Skyrim was released on everything.
Correct. It's on everything now. I think you can play it on a smart fridge somewhere.
Yes, and that just like kills their modding community because, I mean, sure, they're going to allow mods on console now, but not nearly as many as they did on PC. So I don't know how.
Oh, so no PC then? That's included or excluded?
They said Xbox exclusive, which
Ouch.
I assume they'll probably port it to PC at some point. I mean, that's a huge market you lose. I feel like every console should port to PC or every game, because that's just a lot of people who will just play your game. Money you're throwing away, but it's not like you're giving the game license over to PlayStation or something, you know?
Right.
Specifically with computer, it's still Microsoft in a way. So I feel
Microsoft is everywhere. Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, I feel like, and I'm a little biased because I'm a PC gamer, but I feel like every game should be released on the PC. That way I don't have to buy other consoles.
Uh-huh. Well, I thought, so first of all, my thing is not even near close to what you just said, but also going along with what you just said, I read this article this morning, and the article simply said, let me bring it up here, future Bethesda titles don't need to be on PS5, says Xbox's Phil Spencer. And so in the article, they're more or less just talking about, well, that was in response to a question about the Elder Scrolls 6. Spencer says Microsoft won't be forced to release it on PS5.
I feel like they could. What I would do in that position, and I know I'm not like an expert in finance or running a game publisher or anything like that.
Never said you were.
But if I would release it on my own console first, of course, because, you know, we bought it, might as well get the priority on it. And then a month later, release it on PC. And then another month later, release it on PS5, you know? So like 2 months before the other console and a month before the PC release. I feel like that gives you time to get sales on your console first. And you could always push it back more. But like eventually release it on other platforms so you can still milk it for more money for the other audience. But at the same time, still getting the priority to your main console. I feel like that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks to, I know Battlefield 5, I think, did this, and several other games where they had like staggered releases for DLC and like extra content like that, and even staggered release dates based on the console and stuff like that for whatever reason, and how everyone was bummed that was the case. But I know that I guess there's a difference between that and an actual like full-fledged title of a game. Maybe not.
No, yeah, I think in those cases it's the developer receives bids from Xbox and PlayStation because they want to have it first, you know?
Sure.
So they release, they get a bid and they get money out of it. And in some cases that's good for the developers and sometimes the players if they can put more money into the game. But in other ways, for the players, we lose out because if we don't have that specific console they're getting released, we have to wait. For the people who just buy every console, I guess it doesn't affect them at all.
Sure. But also, if you're Sony and have a PlayStation, that just means you get to play as Spider-Man and then no one else gets to. But that's fine.
I think
fine.
Yeah, I think exclusives are fine, like main party exclusives and stuff. I think that's okay. I mean, Otherwise, what's the point in getting a different console if they have the same library?
Hmm. Deep
Uh,
thoughts today.
Definitely deep thoughts. Well, that's all I had. So, what's your big news
Yeah,
piece?
yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure if you saw me, as we only have a one-way camera here, but as I was thinking about the DLC, I was just gazing out my window into the beautiful day outside. Um, no, so freaking, this is completely the opposite side of the spectrum, as opposed to Bethesda. So Spider-Man 3,
Yeah.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3, whatever that will be titled, probably. So it's Homecoming Far From Home. Maybe this will be called Home Away From Home or something. I don't know. But apparently, alongside number one, I can't remember if we mentioned this last time. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange has been confirmed to make an appearance in some
Hmm.
way, shape, or form. And also, apparently, and I didn't write down where I saw this at the time in my notes, but I just wrote down the thing. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are now confirmed to join Spider-Man 3.
Yes, I did hear that.
Did you see that too? Okay, so I'm not losing my marbles. I didn't just write that down a late evening.
So, did you see the Into the Spider-Verse, the animated movie?
I have it. Yeah, I own that crap.
That's a really good movie. So, I'm
Very
wondering if
good.
they're going to do something like that with
Man,
3 Spider-Mans. I mean, Doctor Strange, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well,
he
I'm,
could
I'm googling here. Exactly. Well, I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, and hang on.
I mean, Doctor Strange can make anything happen. He just when you throw magic into the mix, you can literally write any plot you want. So,
Right, and I mean, this is kind of coming off of not the heels, because I guess this was a few months or so ago. The news that for the Flashpoint movie, whenever in God's green earth that's happening, Michael Keaton is going to come back as Batman and reprise a role and stuff like that. And so, it's the constant back and forth of Marvel and DC trying to, I don't even know, one up each other, but also do the same thing. But also, I don't know. It just kind of goes off of that, I feel. Um, Sony Pictures has finally addressed this rumor. Yeah, so Spider-Man 3, Sony Pictures addresses Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield rumors. Sony Pictures has finally addressed this rumor, through Entertainment Tonight by giving out a simple and intriguing response that didn't outright deny the existence of Maguire and Garfield's potential involvement in Tom Holland's led Spider-Man 3. There you go.
I think it would be cool.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people give flack to Tobey Maguire for his performance as Spider-Man in the original 3, but at the same time, they also could have been directing and people in writing, and didn't also have to be just him. And I felt like he did a good job. I think Tom Holland's the best Spider-Man we've had, but
I would agree. But also going off of Tobey Maguire, he cries and he looks silly when he cries. None of us look great when we cry, besides probably like, I don't know.
Tom Holland pulled it off. I'll tell you
Well,
that.
I was just gonna say I don't think he was bad, Maguire. I don't think he was bad. I mean, those movies came out in like what, the early 2000s, and that's not like
Yeah.
a free pass or anything, but it's just kind of like, I don't know.
I think, and this is to Tom Holland's credit. I think not that he's a better actor, but I think his age, being
Mm,
younger than the
not
other,
being 30 in high school.
right? I feel like him pulling off the awkward geek stick works
Sure,
because he is young. He's a teenager, and it fits him more. And it's not cringe when you see an adult. Like if an
it's
adult
not
tries to do it, it's
cringe.
cringe. When you see a kid do it, it's just normal, right? It's expected. And I feel like that as an audience, we accepted that more. And I mean, not to discredit his acting at all. He did it well, but I mean, like they're all doing that. The entire cast of Spider-Man, right? They're all acting awkward and stuff,
They're all crying.
and it works. I feel like it all works. You look at the supporting cast of the other 2 Spider-Man movies, and none of them are memorable. Maybe the Green Goblin from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies.
Uh, yeah. Well, James Franco is good, and then
Yeah.
what's his name? Frickin' the dude who played Flash. He's what's his name? I can't remember. He was Deathstroke in that one after credit scene of Justice League.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember his name. Anyway, yep, that's that.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see it. Should be good.
Absolutely, absolutely. They already have my money. Now, if we can just see Black Widow, we can move on to the rest and see what they have in store
Yeah, I mean,
for
all
us.
they gotta do is release their movies, and I'll go see it.
Hello.
I'll wear 3 masks. All right, I'm gonna go see those movies.
So is that like a balaclava and then like a face shield and then a regular mask, or what's the? the
Uh,
sequence?
I don't know. I'm just gonna wear a full suit of plate mail or something.
Okay, okay, okay. If I might suggest, you start with the regular face mask,
Yeah.
and then you put on a balaclava, and then the face shield.
Hmm.
I submit to you that.
Or I could just wrap myself in bubble wrap. I see people do that.
Really?
Yeah. Did you see those pictures like when it first started and people were like wearing like those giant water jugs on their head and stuff? Like people were just covering their face with anything.
Nah, no. Maybe I did. I don't know. It's been a blur. All of it's been a blur. I don't know.
Look, all right, we're just gonna erase 2020 off of the existence of the
There you
map,
go.
and
There you go.
we're all gonna go down in age, just and go through our birthdays. Just forget about it
Wow,
happened.
interesting. Okay.
Be cool if we all did that. Actually, be
Get
interesting.
get everyone else on board. I think it'll be fine.
So board games.
Yes, hit me with it.
Okay, so for a little context for the audience, some of the people listening already know about this, but every year around the holidays, usually at the very end, before in between Christmas and New Year's, we have a
Yes.
board game day.
Yes.
And a lot of people come, mostly family, a few friends, and we play board games, usually strategy oriented games, games that the rest of our family are not interested in and won't play with us.
Mm,
So
mm.
this is our chance to get together once a year and play them. I know it's
And
a little,
hash it out.
I know it's a little sad we only get to play once a year, but we set aside a day and we do it.
It's sacred.
And for the last couple years, we've played games like Star Wars Armada and Star Wars X-Wing, which are like the tabletop miniatures games. Armadas aren't really that miniature; they're pretty big, but we play those games because you can fit more people than just the 1 versus 1 game mode. You can get. We actually
Right.
played with 8 or 9 people one time, which didn't really work, but we all got to play. So
Isn't that the one where you guys started at like 7 in the morning, like psychopaths or something?
yeah, the game day we start early because it's we have one day of the year and it's a day
Right.
we're all off because it's in between Christmas and New Year's. Most people are off then, so might as well get as most out of the day as possible.
Might as well.
We usually do like donuts and pizza and junk
Mm,
food,
mm.
play board games all day. Really productive day for our fun, not for our physical health. But you know what? We do it.
You know, sacrifices are made, memories are made.
Exactly. Oh, it's a lot of fun. And then sometimes we'll split off and play 2 different games because we have a large group of people. So we can't all play the same game unless we're playing, well, altering the rules a little bit.
Right.
And as a result, every year it gets me thinking about what new board games we could bring to the table.
Yeah, spice it up.
And last year, towards the end, me and Josh split off with my nephew, Jake,
Yes. Yes.
and his friend that he brought with him, and we played Settlers of Catan.
We did. My first time.
And recently, to my surprise, Josh said he wanted to play it.
To your surprise.
I don't know. I didn't think you liked it. I'm glad you do, though.
Oh. Continue. I'll hold my comments till the end.
Anyway, so we're going to try and get together next weekend, hopefully, and play it again.
Yes. Yes.
It's a fun game if you haven't heard of it. The basic gist of it, and I don't remember every rule, but basically everyone's trying to collect resources based on like where on the map you are on the board, and you're trying to trade resources with other people because you're trying to complete certain tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds simple, but it's actually pretty addicting. Like I know
Yeah.
a lot of people who, when they have their board game days, they play Catan every time. Like their group of friends play Catan, and they like do this weekly. Like it's just that good of a game. It's highly rated across the board, and a lot of people attribute it to the success of strategy board games as a whole. Like they've become super popular, and it was like one of the originals.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, if I may, when did the game come out?
I'll have to look that up real quick.
Yeah, I guess I could Google it too. I don't know why I did that. Sorry, I put you on the spot. While you're doing that, I'd be surprised if the majority of people hadn't at least heard and or seen and played this, just because I think it has been around for a while. But I think part of the appeal is that although I'm not sure if intricate is the right word. There's a specific obvious goal that you're trying to reach, but also I don't think it's super complicated.
It's not. It's not. I mean, after like 20 minutes, you already know what you're doing for the rest of the game.
Right. The board is clean. It's not like a mess all over the place. It has to do with like connecting. What were they? Pipes or tunnels or just like lines? I can't remember what they were.
I think like roads.
Yeah, roads or things like that. And you're trying to cover the most ground. That's kind of part of it, isn't it? I know this last
Yeah,
year at some
like
point.
when you're connecting territories together so you can get resources
Right,
faster
that's what
and
it was.
stuff. And okay, so the release date was 1995 for the first edition.
Really?
So a lot of the big strategy games that have come out since owe a lot to it because I mean, look at the way the board games were before that. I mean, we're talking like the Monopolies, the Clues, the Lifes,
The classics.
yes, classics, which I like the classics, but I feel like this was they got really creative making this game, and now I mean, types of board games that are coming out today. I mean, they're so creative now, and they owe a lot to that. So it's the original. If you haven't played it, even if you don't think your family would like it, I recommend it that you try it. It's not expensive. It was like $20.
How many people can play at once again?
I think 4.
4. Okay.
I could be
Oh, okay,
wrong. I
dang
could
it.
be wrong. You could probably fit more.
Well, I was gonna say I have a. I think I told you this a while ago. I had a friend. Was it early in the year? I can't remember. A friend. He's a good friend. He's my friend. I had a
Mhm.
friend tell me that him and his family are apparently way into Catan,
Hmm.
and it blew my mind because I thought I knew this person and this
Yeah.
family, and I don't know, it blew my mind. So I was like, maybe he'd want to get in on this too. But if it's 4 people, then he can screw off. Or
I
something.
could be wrong. In fact, let me Google that too because
Just Google it. We have the internet.
we do.
We could get them involved. We could say, hey, shirts versus skins. We're gonna go all in, and then like losers have to parade around the neighborhood like yelling.
Okay, so
Okay.
the basic Settlers of Catan game is designed to work for 3 to 4 players, but it says or more with 5 to 6 player extension.
What does that mean?
I'm trying to look that up.
Does that mean you have to like have a bigger board? You have to have a bigger space maybe to conquer?
Probably here. Catan for
That
5
probably
to
makes
on
sense.
Catan.com.
Ah,
You can settle Catan with up to 6 players. If you want to play the Catan base game with 5 or 6 players, just add the base game extension.
that's where they get you.
Base game extension. It doesn't show up. If, for example, you want to play the scenarios, beside, you need 1 base game extension and 1 seafarers. Base game extension. Okay. Yeah, so it's the same board game, but it says the word extension on it. But I'm actually interested in getting this. I might get this anyway because Jason and Jake will come, and then me and you. That way, my dad can play too.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be I can't think of a fancy word of a Catan party, but Catan party's lame. So it's gonna be a day full of Catan.
Definitely, I'm excited. I'm excited.
That should be a good time. I look forward to it.
Okay.
I'm glad we get to share our personal plans on the radio.
Yes. Okay, well, I'll order this. I won't do this now. I'll order this.
On air? On air? You're going to order this on air?
It would take me too long. I can't
Oh.
think and talk at the same time. So,
Oh.
just kidding. Anyway,
Oh.
Settlers of Catan is fun. It's simplistic in a way, but it's a strategy game that even people who don't like strategy games would like.
That's what I was thinking is as you said that. I think it requires, and again, it's been almost a year since I played it, so I could be talking out of my butt. I think it requires just enough amount of thought and attention to keep you invested,
Mm-hmm.
but also without asking too much of you to where you just don't care anymore.
Mhm.
But maybe I'm thinking of Monopoly or something.
Well, Monopoly, the only thinking that comes out of Monopoly is trading.
Wow, I don't want to be playing Monopoly.
Well, it's just the trading. And if you're not playing with people who want to trade, then at that point you're just playing a slot machine. And then you lose
My
interest.
favorite.
You lose interest because everyone but one is going to lose the slots. So trading is where the strategy comes in. A lot of people don't like playing that way. But with Catan, you have to trade because it's
That's
the
part
game.
of the game, sucker.
Now, it was actually funny. I was talking to my nephew Jake just yesterday because they were here picking stuff up. And they were talking, and Jake was making a joke. Do you want me to bring Jack again? That's his friend. Hello, Jack, if you hear this.
Hello, Jack.
And he was not trading a lot, and so Jake was basically making a joke that, want me to bring Jack so he won't trade again.
Love it. I don't think, to be fair, I don't think I traded a lot either. Mainly because I just didn't have an idea of what I was doing, so I didn't want to be
Mhm.
foolish. Did you see
Yeah,
there's a Game of Thrones extension? Sorry, I'm looking this
there's
up
a
as we're talking.
couple of them. There's also just a Game of Thrones board game, and they released it on Steam.
Say that again?
There's a Game of Thrones board game. I like just a Game of Thrones board game. Like it's not a Catan or anything. And they released it on Steam on the computer.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
I feel like I want to get you to try it because I know your laptop will run it, and we can play a board game online and see if we like it. I don't know how
This
much
is
it costs though.
insane. Klaus Tuber, I think, is the creator of Catan. I'm doing all this research on what we're live. We're live. I don't know why. We like to keep it loose around here. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely want to get expansions for it at some point and play them because they look.
That's what I was trying to. Yeah, that's what I was trying to look at. Legend of the Sea. Yeah, variants and scenarios. Legend of the Conquerors. Crop Trust. Helpers of Catan. Regional editions. Catan. What is it? Starfarers. Excuse me.
I think
Oh,
the
those are
whole. I think the
spinoffs.
whole gist of Catan is that we're from another planet and we're settling on this new one. I think that's like the whole
Are you
gist of
sure?
Catan. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong though. It's either that or it's this country, this fictional country called Catan. But I thought it
Yeah, I
was
think
another
it might
planet.
be the fictional one because I remember seeing like many of like the main cases or whatever pictures that I've seen have been like villager kind of looking people, and I
Mm.
wouldn't assume that they came from starships, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
We don't know. We'd have to look into it.
We
So
don't know.
I definitely want to get more into that. Um, Another thing that we talked about doing, and we still need to do,
Yes,
is the Firefly board game.
I knew you were gonna frickin' say it. I knew it. I felt it crawling up my
I'm gonna
spine.
say it until we play it. So
Ah.
anyway, we need to play that, and I need to talk to Chris about that because I know he showed interest in wanting to play it too. But I just need to
Mm.
find out what days you're both available. And Chris told me to ask you first.
And then if I remember correctly, you told me that, and then I, in response, said you need to check with Chris.
See,
So where are we at?
well, I'm stuck in the middle is where we're at.
Yeah.
I think you just need to give me days that you know you're going to be free in the foreseeable future, and then I'll bring
know
those
what I
days to
think?
him.
You know what I think? You know
Th-
what I think?
Then I'm right, yes.
You know what I think? I didn't say that. Those words didn't droop from my mouth. I say we try to frickin' cram all this in on Friday when we do Catan.
Well, we could. If I get the expansion, then Chris can play too. That's the thing.
Ah,
If I can't get it here in time, then Catan's only 4 players, so 2 people are gonna have to sit out of that one. And
we have options.
the Firefly game is also only 4 people.
Huh.
I can't, and I don't think there's expansions for it. I don't know if they allow more players.
You know,
But if we
gotta
do
be
it,
firm
but
fair.
the thing with Friday is that we'll probably have to start later in the day, so I don't know how long we can play.
It's Friday night, baby.
I mean, I'm willing to stay up as long as possible, but I know
Yeah,
not
well.
everyone will be willing for that, especially since you have stuff to do the next day.
Oh, you're freaking right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. Yeah, that is a shame. Anyway,
That's why I was thinking maybe Sunday afternoon.
yeah, Sundays afternoons are unfortunate because as you know, I work, but it's split up into 2 different blocks of time. And so after the first block of time, I usually get lunch, come home, pass out
Mm-hmm.
until I have to go back.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really unfortunate if I had to lose my passing out time.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We might just do Firefly Friday evening because it's not long. We might be able to play a couple rounds of that and
There
then
you go.
get home at a reasonable time, and then we can do Firefly at a different day. And of course, we will have the board game day later this year.
That's right. That's what I was thinking. Either way, we'll still be able to
But
smash the rest of them in there.
I don't know what we're going to be playing then. Usually what we do now is everyone brings whatever games they're interested in. We stack them up and we choose. So we'll figure that out too. But yeah, I think we should settle for Friday evening if Jason and Jake can. Otherwise, we might have to push it back another weekend.
There you go.
But we'll figure it out.
So to everyone listening, you now know that this Friday we have our own personal family game day happening, and you can only imagine how well it's going to go. in your
And I
imaginations.
recommend that all of you do the same with your families and friends.
That's right. But you know, get the kids together. You need to have bonding time. You need to build relationships, have the tough conversations, and just live life together
with board games.
with board games made of board.
Because they're fun and they're a way to bond
This is a bad infomercial.
unless you play Monopoly.
Oh,
Though
gosh, dang it.
there's actually something worse than Monopoly you can play if you want to ruin friendships, and that's Mario Party. It's kind of a
Oh,
video game board game, but it's that's a way when you're stealing everyone's stars and coins. That's a way to really ruin friendships. That's why me and my friends play every week. I'm just kidding.
yeah, that's right. I'm not sure if I've ever shared this with you. To my knowledge of my vast 24 years of existence, I don't think I've ever played a single game of Mario Party.
You definitely should.
I don't
It's
think I should.
experience.
I don't know.
I mean,
It
it's,
never. When I've seen it been played. I've seen the things. I've seen the stuff. It just never really. I don't know. It didn't never really looked like my cup of tea. Not that I would never knock it till I don't try it or whatever, but
I think you'd like it because I mean, there's the boards and they have different elements to them, and the whole goal of the game is to get stars, and the person with the most stars wins, and so you just get to the
yes,
space,
yes.
you pay the 20 coins, and you get the star.
Of course, isn't that just like life?
Yes, and everything else in the game is built around getting coins so that you can get stars, and so after everyone moves. If you land on blue spaces, you get 3 coins. If you land on a red space, you lose 3 coins. And then mini games at the end of every round, the winner gets 10 coins. And then there are plenty of other ways. Each Mario Party has different ways to give you coins on top of that. But that's like the basic. And the mini games are the whole game. Like that's why you play. And there's a lot of really fun ones. And usually they're simple, like mash this button or run around this place or count these things. It's very simple, quick things that you do. And you're competing against other people. And it's entertaining in that way. And the ruined friendship parts is just a lot of mini games have ways to like screw over other people.
I'm a big fan of screwing others over.
So that is something you can do. And a lot of times, like whoever gets in first place will then be the target until they're not in
Hmm.
first place anymore. And then whoever's in first now is now the new target. And there's a little bit of strategy in there, but a lot of it's just you roll the dice, you see where you move, and you try to win the mini games. But it's a fun time, and I've been playing the second one, which is old, from the Nintendo 64, with 3 of my friends. We'll get together and play it every once in a while, because that's just our favorite. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you should see Dylan when he wins, and he just pops off and runs across the basement, screaming because he's so excited.
I can see it now. I can hear it now. Really, I can see and hear it. Oh, my wife is vacuuming. Allow me to, in the spirit of Mario Party and me not playing it, I'll tell you what I am going to play.
What is that?
Number one, I a few days ago I took the liberty to dive back into the Outer Worlds. I sent you a snap. I was in it.
Yes.
I have since then gotten to a mission where I won't bore you with it. Long story short, I'm dying a heck a lot. I need to figure out how to get to this area, get the thing without dying a lot. Haven't gotten back into it in about 2 or 3 days just because of busyness. But can you? I want you to. You're sitting down. I know you're sitting down. I want you to close your eyes. Are you closing your eyes?
You can never tell, but sure, yeah.
But just tell me you're closing your eyes.
Yeah, they're closed.
Thank you. What do you think I just finished installing on my Xbox prior to logging on to do the podcast?
Well, I don't think you uninstalled Skyrim.
Not uninstalled, what I installed.
Hmm.
Think of the days we're in. Think of what's happening. What things are on the horizon.
Is it a horror game?
No. Although I did get a free one from Xbox Live Gold or whatever that I did install. It has 5 stars and it was free. But anyway, that's not it.
I want to hear your reactions to that. Well, okay. It's probably a shooter.
Okay. Hurtful, but okay.
Is it right though?
Yes.
Okay. Is it Splinter Cell?
No.
Ghost Recon?
It was the Cold War open beta.
Oh, that's right. I got it too, actually.
Hey, wonderful.
And it's cross-platform, so we can play together.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great. Me and cousin Jonah, if you're listening, I hate your guts. That's a joke. We're going to hop on later tonight after I get back from a dinner date that we have.
I think the beta's cross-platform. I know the full
Surely
release
it
will be.
is.
Because I have it
Surely it
on
is.
PC. I guess I could have gotten it on, but I just pre-ordered it on PC because I'm better with a mouse and keyboard than I am with the controller.
I believe you. Hang on, I'm asking if it's cross. Yeah, so it's for free. Update: the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War beta has officially begun, and unlike the previous test, it is available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC as of crossplay is supported, letting you play with those on any platform.
Well, there you go. We can play together.
This is wonderful news. So yeah, I download it, and obviously we make fun of me for my little pea brain and just playing shooter games, but I'm interested for this one. I've heard mixed reviews as you hear about anything else in existence. I think it's going to be fine. If it's anything like this previous year's Modern Warfare, I think it'll be just good. I think it'll be just fine. I think I'll enjoy it. I will probably end up getting it at some point, not on launch, but I'll probably end up getting it because a lot of my other friends are playing it, all that jazz. Yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Did you get a kick out of it?
Well, hey, we're not making fun of you for playing shooters. I just find it funny that you play a lot of them. But hey, it's not a bad thing.
Convenience, man. It's convenience. Ah.
Well, I wish you'd play Mass Effect. Hey, I'm going to be bringing that up to the day you die. I hope you're ready.
That's fine. That's fine, man. I totally understand.
Unless you play it, then I won't bring it up anymore.
I did tell you, I jumped back into the second one a few weeks ago, right? I did tell you that. I did tell you that.
I wish you'd play the first one. Or I wish
whispers to me.
I wish you would learn the story of the first one before going into the second one.
I can YouTube it.
The thing is, the best part of the Mass Effect trilogy is when you play
the choices.
Yeah, and then how they affect each game. And so if you jump right into the second one, a lot of the choices just aren't there. And I don't know what it defaults to, but there's a choice in the first game of which squad mate to keep, and if you lose that choice, I think it just defaults to one in Mass Effect 2.
Sure.
Now, in Mass Effect 2, there is a thing you can go through, like a little comic book thing in the game where you make some choices. Do you have that?
Say that again?
I think it's called Genesis or something, but in Mass Effect 2, there was one of the DLC that came with it. I think you can get it separately. That allows you to go through this little comic book thing, this digital comic book in the game that takes you through the first game story, and that would be good enough instead of YouTubing it, and then it allows you to make the big choices, and then they carry over into the second game, as if you had the first save.
I haven't done it, but that does sound really familiar. So either you and I had talked about it, or maybe I read it, and then I just forsook it.
Because if you want to just skip the first one because it's older and go right into the second one, I highly recommend that. I know you did it.
It's too late. It's too late now.
Well, it's not too late. You're probably on the first mission.
He says it's never. Hey, I told you. Like, I'm on the third. Gosh. Okay, we're moving on. What have you been playing? What have you been diving into? You planning spooky games for the spooky month?
I've been watching a lot of people playing horror movies, getting into the mood and
playing horror movies. You said
horror movies and losing some sleep.
Really?
Not really.
Okay.
I did have a nightmare the other day, and it's just like I became aware that it was a nightmare, so then it lost all its
It lost its luster.
I was just like, what's the point of this now? But it was pretty scary at the beginning.
The question?
Of course, you wake up afterwards and you're not scared anymore because it was stupid. You just for some reason scared because it's a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, I did because I've been watching a lot of people play horror games, so it's just
which ones have you been watching?
Actually, a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's. As much as people laugh at that game,
no,
people don't understand how scary it is to play the game until they play it.
Sure.
A lot of people think, "Oh, it's just a silly, popular game that Markiplier played on YouTube," but then
good old guy.
It's terrifying because there's jump scares, but it doesn't just throw them at you. It's it's a build up, right? You're trying to keep them away from you this entire game, and you can hear them moving around, and they're inching closer and closer to your office, and then they just show up, and it's a spooky game.
I'm trying to bring. Go ahead, sorry. I'm trying to bring up that game I told you about that I got for free because I can't remember the name of it. Game of the month. It was called.
Was it Outlast or Amnesia?
No, I would remember both of those. No, this one was called Made of Skur.
Haven't heard of it.
Made of Sker. Well, it's free, and it had 4.5 5-star reviews. It looked like a Made of Skur. Made of Skur is, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, is a reasonably new game, having only been released in August. It is a stealth horror adventure from developer Wales Interactive, which also gives you an idea of where it's based. That didn't give us any talk. Yeah, it's first person. That was really loud in my headphones. It looks, as I'm watching the review, it looks kind of like an Outlast.
Mhm.
Vibe, which I'm all for. Oh, yep, he's pulling a knife out of his arm. Classic. There's a faceless man. You gotta have him. But yeah, I might force Sarah to watch me play 15 minutes of that, at some point.
I feel like you guys would I specifically she would like watching or playing horror games because she's always been into horror movies.
Yeah, well, yeah, the tides have changed over the past few years, but we haven't really, unfortunately, haven't really dived into a lot of spooky movies this month. I'm trying to remember. We're watching, not that this is a spooky movie, but we count it as a fall movie, Fantastic Mr. Fox with my
Oh,
with my mother tonight because she hasn't seen it. It's a good film,
yes,
man.
but she's seen it. Sarah has seen it so many
It's so
times.
good.
I
It's a good
remember she
film.
would like watch it every day in October when she used to live
No,
here, and it was
no,
like,
every day is simply too much.
well, she didn't beat her Freaky Friday record, so
Oh my gosh, we don't need to talk about that. But we did watch, and we were on the verge of binge watching The Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix.
yeah.
That is the I was waiting for your response, but obviously you didn't fully know. That is the the it's not a sequel, but it is the next installment, if you will, of the Haunting of anthology on Netflix. So the first one was Haunting of Hill House, which you and I have discussed. You should watch it. You should really watch it. I would love discussion about it. Very good. So then Bly Manor is a completely different story, but they brought back several of the actors from Hill House to play different characters and stuff like that. So binge watch that. It was really good in my opinion. Would recommend.
I will definitely try. I have to re-get Netflix because I was
Yeah.
using the parents' Netflix and they don't
Yeah.
have it anymore.
That's all right. That's all
But
right.
Mandalorian season 2,
We're creeping up on it, man.
we are. I'm excited. Hopefully everything worked out with the filming and because of the rumors that were going on. Hopefully it's all okay.
I'm not sure if side note, it's almost about 2 weeks away. I'm not sure if I just have been looking in the wrong places or haven't been looking, but I haven't seen, because remember, I shared those rumors with you a few
Hmm.
weeks ago. I haven't seen any other hints or rumors of that anywhere else except from that one video that I saw it from to begin with.
Hope that means that it was the person who was just making it up because I really hope it
Uh,
went without a hitch.
Either it was made up or it actually did happen, but they were able to squash it relatively quickly.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
But
Well,
speaking of horror, before we completely leave the topic,
you scared me.
Betrayal at the House on the Hill is a game that I
Yes.
bought and have and set up,
We've
but
discussed.
we haven't played it yet. We'll find a time to do probably something like with the parents. We'll play that with us. I think they.
Do you think they'll enjoy it?
So okay, I feel like
Uh-oh.
yes because I don't think you can be scared of a board game. We'll find out,
Okay.
but
Okay. Interesting.
I don't think you can. But so I don't think it'll be like too spooky for them or anything. And it has a little bit of strategy in it. I think every game does though. But it's not a strategy game per se. It's more of a one person's the villain and everyone else is just trying to survive. It's a cooperative game, I guess, except for one person. And I feel like it'll be interesting. Based on what the rules I've read, it's also extremely replayable. So
Okay.
the house itself is formed as you move through it. So every game will have a different house, and also there's like 50 different haunts they're called,
Ooh.
which are like it just ramps up the difficulty mid game, and then one person becomes the bad guy, and it has like a story attached to it, and there's 50 of them. So I feel like unless we play it 50 times, we won't exhaust that.
Oof. Sure. You'll
Bec-
have options, so to speak.
because I wanted to find a game. This is what I was looking for originally. I wanted to find a game that had the similar vibe to Chameleon, where this one guy's
Okay.
secretly not with everyone else,
Right.
but was more replayable because we really enjoyed that game and we just kind of got bored of it. But
So go ahead.
well, that was all I was saying. You can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I know I asked you this last time that we talked about this game, but my memory is this it's kind of like a Clue, right? Or no, as far as like premise and execution, or is it not at all?
I think like in its most base form, it has
Okay.
clue
Elements.
like vibes and elements.
Sure.
Everyone, I mean, at the start, and I have to reread the rules. At the start, everyone's on the same team, kind of. Everyone's not like no one's a villain yet. when a haunt is triggered, which happens, you go into the wrong room or something, but a haunt happens at some point. I think it happens every game.
Hmm.
One of the players becomes a bad guy. And I don't remember if everyone knows who it is or not, but when they become the bad guy, they're trying to kill everyone else. And we're all still moving through the house. And there's other things besides just the one bad player that can hurt you. There's like traps in rooms or other monsters in the house.
Hmm.
And there's multiple floors of the house. And you're trying to get through it. And it seems like it has that spooky vibe where you don't know what's going to come.
Big spooky vibes.
But
that's going to make the title of the episode, Big Spooky Vibes.
There we go. It is close to Halloween, so. But yes, I feel like it'll be fun. I feel like it's a game that this group of people will enjoy because it has a little bit for everybody.
I'm glad, man. That's very encouraging.
And I'm going to make sure I know the rules for sure before we start.
Of course.
I think that's the one thing. That's the one thing that my parents will take them out of an experience is if we have to spend.
They don't know how to play.
Well, if we have to spend like half an hour reading the rules, and everyone's just sitting there bored.
That's not attractive. That's not attractive to anyone, really.
So I want to make sure I know them. I've memorized them, and I know how to play so that I can teach it in an efficient manner when we start.
It's very noble of you.
It is. I don't know how noble.
Yes,
I don't know how noble. It may be mandatory to actually get to play it.
Yeah. Well.
But
interesting.
Yeah, and if this goes well, there's other board games.
Big if
that we went over. There's one that I think would be even more in the alley of my parents and Sarah, actually, called Codenames, because it's a word game.
Yes, we did talk about that one. I've played it. I've played that once.
So it's fun. It's fun because it's a word game, but it's like there's still the mystery around the game because you're like trying to figure out a secret. I don't know. It should be exciting. I think there's a little more context to it than other word games that make it more interesting for me. We'll see. That's my thing. I'm okay with word games. I just want there to be something interesting building it up. And
you want there to be a haunt per se.
Kind of, yes.
a big spooky vibe, as it were.
And we have played one of these before, but deck builders. You played the Hobbit deck builder.
I did.
So they're fun games because they give you the feeling that you're playing one of those collectible strategy card games, but it's replayable, it's shorter, and it's contained, and you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of cards.
Yes.
And they're interesting because they're usually themed around something.
Correct. As far as like, go ahead.
Yeah, like we played the Hobbit.
Hobbit.
And there's Lord of the Rings.
Didn't you say there's like an Avengers one or something?
Yeah, and I want to get those. I want to get the DC
great.
and the Avengers ones because I feel like you'd be even more excited to play it then.
Oh man, just getting put on blast on the podcast.
It's not on blast.
It's a pleasure. I was on blast, man.
I was just detailing something you're interested in. Was I wrong?
No.
Well, then hey, I'm just spitting facts.
Wow, he's spitting. He's spitting bars, man.
No, we don't want to hear that. Anyway, and here is something for you.
Thank you.
Well, for both of us, I guess.
Okay.
In the future, so right now, if everyone didn't know, we are recording this in separate places.
We are.
We've tried to record it in person. We need a little more practice to get that down right.
Yeah, for in the most basic sense, that is correct.
We'll figure that out, and eventually we will be doing it in person. That's the goal, anyway.
The dream, maybe.
And I want to get a place in my future home, a space created for recording.
Of course.
And I also want a space specifically for board games or just game nights in general because...
A den.
Right. And I want to have those laid out and ready, specifically the recording space, because then we just get everything set up and it's just a matter of flipping the on switch and going, right? Because in the past, Josh had to bring his stuff over. We'd have to get all set up. We'd have to tune everything. And I think we were too close together. And
conversation for a different time.
The audio wasn't working, but we'll figure it out. We will eventually become masters of podcasting.
Wow. I can't believe you just said it. Holy cow.
Eventually we will be promoted from Padawans and we will be podcasting.
Mr. Miyagi.
Jedi Knight podcasters.
You're reaching for it, but I respect it.
Hey, that's how my brain works.
I'm glad.
So I want to have a space dedicated for that and for board games in the future, and potentially separate spaces. But
Could be.
I think one thing
In,
that will definitely help is getting like soundproof walls and
could
stuff.
be. Could be. Depends on how much effort you want to put into it. But you know what would be more intense, more than soundproofing, is podcasting while board gaming. Can you imagine how stressful that would be? Can't you imagine how I would burst into tears by the end of it?
It would be stressful, but I don't know why we would do it as a podcast. We could probably just set up
I
a
don't know.
camera and
I don't
record
know.
our board game. That would be. I've seen people do that. I mean, like if you've seen tabletop, that's what they do. They just record it.
Right.
Of course, they have a professional camera crew and everything.
That's crazy.
But anyway, speaking of tabletop, throwing some advertisement at a group that we're not even affiliated with,
Love it.
I do recommend for everyone listening, if there's a board game you want to try, if it's likely that they played it on tabletop, go watch them play it because it's a good idea. It's entertaining.
It's a channel on YouTube.
Yeah, tabletop
Yeah.
by Will
Okay.
Wheaton, because then you can get an
Ah.
idea if you're gonna like the game, and it's entertaining to watch. And yeah, it's Will Wheaton from Star Trek and Eureka fame, and he's done other things that I don't
Yeah.
know of. But
we respect him nonetheless.
so that's where I get my ideas for board games, and there's other people who play games online too, and I recommend it because board games are fun, and we should play more of them.
Wow, what a ringing endorsement. Yeah. Well, I've just recently kind of got back into the. Well, I don't. That was too strong. I don't want to lie to you on air. I've dove in back into the reading grind because for a while, as you know, was I just taken off and reading like a goon.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the past couple. I'd say the past month or two specifically, I've been kind of hit or miss when it comes to like my novels and books. And for a while, I was exclusively doing my my iPad comicsology and digital comics and stuff like that. So I really did an overload on those the comics. But now I can't remember if I told you I made it a point to read the first Harry Potter book for the first time this month because it's the month of our Lord October.
What'd you think?
Oh, I'm not done yet. I have 5 chapters left, I think. I read the Halloween chapter today, which was very fitting. And what was the other one? The first Quidditch chapter as well. So big fan. I just started with the first one for the month just so I could wrap my head around it because also I still need to finish the 3rd Expanse book, the 2nd Mistborn book. And so I'm just taking it in stride.
Getting some practice at doing multiple things at once.
Dude, I can't. I know I've probably said this here already, but even thinking about reading more than one book at once. No.
It's a struggle.
No, I'm not. This is not a joke. No, I'm not even sure if stressing me out is the correct, because I feel like I'm able to compartmentalize enough to where it doesn't actually stress me out.
Mm-hmm.
Because also, what's the difference between watching several shows at the same time or reading several different digital comics at the same time? It's the same concept, right? I don't know.
I feel like
I guess I'm afraid of starting something and not finishing it, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I have a similar problem to that, where if I start something, it's going to be eating away at me until I finish it in some ways. And sometimes I'm the opposite, where I'll stop something and never come back. But I think that it all comes down with how you compartmentalize it in your brain and how you adjust it. Because for me, with shows, for example,
Yes.
especially if they're being released weekly, you're not going to be able to just watch one. Netflix kind of changed how that works, how you can just binge a show through. But I've definitely watched multiple shows ongoing week to week before, and we just did it because we had no other choice.
Right. Well, I mean, like what you just said, we're watching. Well, we just finished Bly Manor. We kind of binged that one specifically, but we're we're going through Vampire Diaries. We just started. Oh, this is a topic for the next episode. A show called What We Do in the Shadows. I told you about that the other day.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching New Girl. I started watching a few shows on Amazon that I'm not sure I want to say because I don't want to be held responsible because of their crassness. One of them's The Boys. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's physical media. Physical media, physical things. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm gonna shut up.
And I think one thing that helped me with playing games is that I've been playing 2 games for a long time, 10 plus years, League of Legends and World of Warcraft specifically,
Mm,
where they don't end, right? There's no like this like the
right.
expansion ends, you do the expansion story, but then the next expansion
It
comes
still
out.
keeps going.
And
Yeah.
League of Legends is just you hop on and you play a game. And so I've been invested in 2 games for such a long time. And in that time I have played and beaten other games. So I think I've just gotten used to being able to play games at a rate that will meet my pace.
Mm.
I definitely don't play as much as some people I know. I think a lot of times I'll just get stuck watching things like Netflix or YouTube and not.
Yeah.
I guess it's still not being productive if you're playing video games, but you know what? I'm going to say it is. If
Hello.
you set a goal, I'm going to beat this game. You sit down, you play it. Hey, you're being productive towards that goal, and that's all that
A
counts.
hot take. He's standing firm. You heard it here first.
Make myself feel better. But
Wow.
anyway, I feel like in situations like mine, where I've been playing these games as a service for so long, that it's helped me adjust to doing multiple things at once because I have. In the past, when I was a kid, there'd be like, this week, I'm playing this game for this week. I just got into a game for a week and I didn't play anything else besides that game when I was really young. And I don't do that anymore. Not really.
What changed?
I got older,
Who
I guess.
become? Oh.
My brain's a little bigger. I don't know.
Oh, great.
I don't know why that is. I think just when I was a kid, I just got into something and there wasn't. I wasn't into online gaming at the time. I was a little kid. It wasn't really a thing back then, anyway.
You were a sprout. You were a
Right.
small human being, much like the one inside of my pregnant wife.
The only online gaming at the time was on the computer, and I wasn't into it at the time. I was young. My parents wouldn't let me anyway. So the only time you were going to play games with other people is if they came over. So most of the time, playing video games was a single player experience for a lot of people, and so you just whatever game you were into, and there wasn't friends pulling you into other games.
So what you're saying is you have
have what?
Have you ever just watched someone lose their train of thought?
I
and how
just did.
painful it must look.
I
I know you did. That's why I'm asking. What were we talking about? Where am I? What year is it? Who's in the Oval Office? Oh, what were we just talking about?
We were talking about games and friends.
Oh, so what you're saying is you fall into peer pressure with video games.
Well, these days I just log in and I'm on the computer. I have free time, so I get on. And even if my intent is, I'm going to play this game today, I'll get a message on Discord from a friend saying, hey, you want to play this? And I'm like, sure.
Right.
Because
they want to get back in the raid.
Well, yeah. So we have a break from that specifically because we finally beat the last boss. But the next expansion will come out and probably December. And so we're looking at the raid starting back in January. This could all be wrong. They could release it tomorrow and just be like, ha, psych. But they won't.
Idiots.
But it's looking like we're going to have a break from raid for a while. But actually, last night, I got into playing Among Us, if you've heard of that game, with the guild.
I have.
My World of Warcraft guild got together and we played that, just 10 of us, because you can only play 10 people. But it was a lot of fun. Backstabbing each other and
love it.
And I dominated as the imposter a couple times. I felt really proud of myself because I don't know what I'm doing in that game.
You were the chameleon.
I was. And it's a fun game. It's definitely fun. So yeah, I'll get on. Friends will say, hey, you want to play League of Legends? You want to play Among Us? You want to play whatever multiplayer game they're into at the time? And I'll say, sure, whatever, because I like playing games with friends.
Yeah, fine. Shut up. Leave me alone.
No, I refuse to play with you today. I'm playing Skyrim today. Well,
oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, it's probably the same for you, right? If a friend wants to play one of the multiplayer games with you, or if your brother wants to play No Man's Sky or something, you'll play it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah, and that's really what it's been. The as far as playing with other people in my realm of influence, it's usually, well, there's only about 3 to 4 people that I actually play with on a semi-regular basis, and so it's usually what? My tongue fell out. It's either like Modern Warfare with cousin Jonah. Shut up, Jonah. He's who I'm playing Cold War tonight with. Very much looking forward to that. My brother and I, as we previously discussed, we hit Ghost Recon a good amount, some No Man's Sky. what else have we played together? We played a few other things, but yeah, it's that's kind of been the rotation, which has been fine.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, before I was in this WoW guild, it was my friend Tyler and Dylan too. I mean, cousin Dylan wants to play games. Well,
Cousin Dylan.
in fact, when I originally, not the first time, but like when I got into League of Legends, it was like 2014 was when Dylan first got into it and a couple more of my friends. And there was like 5 of us, and we were just playing pre-made lobbies and just having fun. And that was what got us into the game originally. It stopped my progress. That was when I was like religiously playing that game. I'd log on, play that game all day, log off. It was like the summer in between. It was like right after I graduated high school or something, before college started, and had nothing going. So, play League of Legends.
So I think the big takeaway for the episode as we close is just get with your friends. You get with your family
And play some games.
You have fun. You make memories. You get together. You get around the table 6 feet apart, and you go in deciding that you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, if I know some people are still heavily quarantining right now, and do whatever makes you feel safe. But at the same time, if you don't have COVID,
don't be afraid to love.
Right. If you don't have it, you don't have the plague, and your family and friends also don't, then it can't hurt, especially if you haven't seen him in a while, to get together,
just settle Catan
and play some games. Board games are fun. They're good. They're clean. They're family friendly, and except for Cards Against Humanity, and
well,
that's still funny though. And it's a good way to have some fun because it's Halloween and we need to get together and do things. Speaking of, one last thing.
Yes.
Our family does like a little fire pit on Halloween in the
That's
driveway.
Not the only thing. That's the only freaking thing. There's potato soup that makes me it makes me feel alive. Sorry.
It definitely does make me feel alive until the lactose intolerance kicks in at the end of the day.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Just accept it. What were you gonna say?
I deal with it, of course. Yeah. I'm gonna have potato soup. So yeah, potato soup. We'll do like chili dogs, and we'll have a campfire. And this year, and I'm still trying. I think I've already mentioned this to you, Josh. I'm still trying to convince you guys to do it, but to do a live play of some horror games.
Yeah.
After we're done eating and drinking, and we feel good, we feel happy.
We've had our fill. Yes.
And now we're gonna get scared. And I think it'll be funny. We'll take turns playing, and when you die, you switch the controller over to the other person.
This is at your house, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, by all means, and yeah, that can freaking happen.
And I think there'll be a group of us, so it shouldn't be too scary if there's a lot of people, but it'll be interesting and probably entertaining for the people watching, whoever's playing and getting scared. And I was thinking of Five Nights at Freddy's. I was thinking of Amnesia, Outlast, games like that are very scary. It's gonna be the night of Halloween, whenever that day is.
It's gonna be good.
I think Halloween's a Friday.
It's a Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. Okay, so most people should be off anyway. If you make your workers work on Halloween, first of all,
where's your
shame?
Where's your holiday spirit?
Yes,
spirit. Ooh.
I know you have something to do the following day on a Sunday, but we
won't
go too late. But it should.
I think we'll make it happen. We'll make the video games happen. And that's what we always do on this podcast. We make the video games happen. And of course, what podcast is this?
The Greater Mythos Podcast.
It would be great if you forgot the name. But hey, you can leave us a rate or a review on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. I forgot the name. You can subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. We're on YouTube as well. New episodes every Friday. It's time to get the frick out of here.
Hello.